In Illinois, we like to go big. Case in point, Catie, Illinois. This town of just under 2,500 is home to more world record-breaking oversized attractions than any town has a right to claim. And it all started with a big dream from one local businessman who dedicated more than 15 years to putting his hometown on the map in a truly one-of-a-kind way. Catie is currently home to 12 of the world's largest things, as well as 22 additional big things. The community has generated buzz and significant tourist activity around its oversized offerings, all of which are free and open to the public 365 days a year here on the streets of Catie. But now the town also finds itself at a crossroads. Join me for a tour of a small town full of big ideas, big fun, and big hearts in this episode of Enjoy Illinois, Let's Go. Ask anyone in Catie who to credit for the town's revitalization, and they all point to the same individual, Jim Bolin. As owner of Bolin Enterprises, Jim and his employees built and maintained pipelines and tanks, but also spent free time dreaming up mammoth sculptures that he and his employees built and installed all around town. When Jim unexpectedly passed away in January 2026, Catie lost its visionary. The community couldn't help but wonder what will happen to his vision. Diane Bolin, Jim's wife and widow, introduces us to the creator of big things in a small town. Diane and Jim Bolin were married for 40 years and worked closely together on big things. It started with the spark of an idea and turned into a citywide phenomenon. Diane, thank you so much for joining us and welcoming us to Catie. Tell us how this idea started.
Well, my husband, Jim, was a businessman at heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he always had incredible ideas. He was a great entrepreneur, I guess you would say. But for a long time, the city of Catie was kind of, I want to say dying. It just was not the same town that he grew up in. In the mid-90s, I would say, we started going on vacations, family vacations. And we would go to these small towns, and there was a little bakery that we went to in Silver Plume, Colorado, and our whole family just fell in love with it. It was adorable. My daughter at the time was obsessed with making cupcakes, and my husband, who, wants to take care of everything, said, okay, we're going to get her a little cafe, a little cupcake shop. We'll do that because she shines at this. She was like, we got to have something else that will pull people to Catie. If we could just get those people to stop, it would be amazing. So he was thinking about that. That was in his head. We had kind of a windy day. The wind chime was going outside. He's like, hey, look up, because he was always, look up this, Diane. So look up the largest wind chime. And I did. And the rest is history, I guess.
So walk us through what it took to make the first big thing. Was it complicated? Was it expensive?
I feel like the first one was not super complicated. It's a pretty basic design. My husband's business, they employ super talented welders and people who've worked with pipe. And, some of the guys just get it. Mm-hmm. They're super mechanical like Jim. And when he says, I have an idea, they're like, okay, we can run with that. So in their downtime, they worked on this in the shop.
So how did the city of Catie respond? Were people embracing the idea? Did anybody think it was crazy or a bad idea?
I think there were a few people that thought he was kind of crazy. And they would kid him about it because it did take a while. This is a super tight community. And everybody's just like, even if Jim's crazy, we love him. We're going to see what happens.
So when he first brought up making the world's largest wind chime, what was your reaction? Was it, this is definitely going to happen, this will maybe happen, maybe not?
He's very mechanically minded. He's very creative. And I was just like, okay, if you want to try it.
So after you had the world's largest wind chime installed, if you build it, they will come, did that happen?
We rarely had anyone traveling this street. And if they were just going through. Nobody was parked along Main Street at that point in time. We had like the restaurants and stuff out by the interstate. That's where everybody was. Mm-hmm. And we opened the little cafe about the same time as we announced that this was the world's largest. And we would go to the window and be like, oh, there's a Virginia license plate parked outside. Or there's a New York license plate parked outside in Casey. It was so exciting for us. It wasn't like a huge sweep of people, but 1 or 2 out-of-town license plates a day was a huge thing for us.
How did Jim decide what to build next, and how did others kind of get inspired by him?
Jeanette, who's in gay, had the crochet hook and the knitting needle. And once we did that, other businesses were like, can you make a pitchfork for me? Can you do this? The businesses have been super kind, super grateful, and have tried to do whatever they can to try and make it work too.
Yeah.
To kind of catch it.
So a number of these big things are Guinness Book World Record holders?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's like a dozen in town that are actually world record holders. Like the wind chime and the rocking chair, we call those world record holders, and the others we just call the big things. So he's created a lot of those. And that's another thing he wanted to do just for little businesses in town. The thrift shop was the most recent. He created a hanger, a huge hanger you can like grab onto and hang on, just to wind people around town so they hit all the businesses.
And what's the process of getting certified with the Guinness Book of World Records, and why is that important to do?
So the process, first of all, you have to, if you are going to do something that's never been done before, the item has to be 10 times the size of the original. So like the pitchfork has to be 10 times the size of a traditional pitchfork. So you have to write to Guinness. You have to fill out an application that says, this is what I would like to attempt. And you have to tell them very specifically what you're going to do. And then you have to follow that to the letter, which is sometimes kind of hard to do. We sometimes don't read fine print. We realized after we'd built one wooden shoe that it was supposed to be a pair. The record was a pair, so we had to do a pair.
When you would see visitors come here for the first time and stand in front of these giant things, what did that feel like to you?
I worked for the first few summers here at the cafe, so I would get to meet people. And you see families come and the kids are like running ahead because they're so excited. Little kids who say, this is the best town ever. We had a TV crew come from Germany and they're just like, this is so amazing. And it really has been a space where people come and hang out.
Sparking joy all over town.
It is heartwarming. It is what Jim wanted, because that's,
Are there specific big things that have extra special meaning to your family?
Oh, I would say the wind chime, because that's what started it. And that's kind of, I don't know, that's what made us think the dream can come true. I think he felt that as long as the people of Casey believed that they could do it, I think they could do it all along. They just needed that spark.
Yeah.
So
talk about how the whole area has developed since 2011. You guys started all this stuff.
Yeah.
The big things boom.
The big things boom. It really did bring some entrepreneurs out of the woodwork. Some ladies who had always wanted to have a dress shop or always wanted to have an antique shop, or people who wanted to start a business downtown, the butcher shop, the coffee company. So I think it really made a difference in the atmosphere downtown.
After seeing how the world's largest wind chimes inspired people to stop at the Whittling Whimsy Cafe, other residents and business owners were intrigued by the possibility of more big things coming to Casey. One of those early adopters was Jeanette Huzingay. About 15 years ago, Jeanette Huizinga decided to take a chance and open a yarn shop here in downtown Casey. Jeanette, you've been part of this community for quite some time. What was it like in Casey before all the big things hit this little town?
There wasn't nearly as much traffic. There was a lot of empty buildings, and some buildings were in bad need of repair because there just hadn't been anything there for quite a while.
Your yarn shop had large knitting needles outside. They're still here. What's the backstory on how those came about?
There was an empty building on the corner that I talked my husband into buying. And once I got in there, I opened up the knitting store. Jim said, "I want to make something for your store. You're taking a chance on downtown. I want it to be the best chance." And he's like, "I'm going to make you a set of knitting needles." And he's like, "Now these are going to be big and you're going to need to set the record." He goes, "I will make them." He goes, "But I want you to set it." He didn't even bat an eye at it. He's like, "I'm making you some knitting needles so that people will come in and then maybe they'll buy knitting needles."
Yeah.
His idea was great. And I just felt very, very grateful for what he did and the support that he showed me as a new business owner.
And did that improve business when you had a big thing outside your
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they come in, they want to take their picture with it. They want
Uh-huh.
you to take a picture with it. A lot of times they wanted to get some kind of a souvenir and take
Yeah.
that home with them.
So the tourists started coming.
Yes.
And where were they coming from?
A lot of them were driving through and they might have saw a billboard
Mhm.
on the interstate and thought, well, we'll just hop off, go downtown, take a look. But they were coming from all over. There was one time in my store that I put up a board so that people could write on there where they were from. And at the end of the day, I had over 100 destinations.
Oh my gosh. What are the things that you feel like the tourists are really liking the most when they come visit?
I think the number one thing that I get asked a lot of questions about is the rocking chair.
Oh,
I mean, it's phenomenal.
yeah.
You can see it as you're driving into town.
Yeah.
They want to know, if you've ever been up on it, does it really rock?
Has anything changed about Casey downtown that you didn't see coming?
I didn't see not being able to find a parking spot. I didn't know that I would be able to come downtown and see buildings that have come to life.
Yeah.
Never dreamed that.
What do you think is important for people to understand in the bigger picture of Casey, Illinois? It's not just about the big things. There's something bigger behind it.
There's a big heart behind it. Someone who wanted to put our state on the map in a unique way, wanted to also help the community. So if you come into town, you're likely going to stop and get gas.
Mhm.
You're probably going to stop at some restaurant somewhere and get some food. And if you choose to spend the night, it was all about growing our community together. I feel like I had a front row seat to the change because the store was on the corner, but I watched how Jim single-handedly changed the traffic pattern of downtown. A lot of people, when it all started out, they were a little skeptical, like, we kind of liked our town the way it was, and it was fine. We never dreamed that the other side of downtown would be so busy because it was so empty.
Yeah.
And it's a lot alive.
What do you think is in the future for Casey?
I'm hoping that more people will take a chance on our community and maybe possibly have some new businesses come in, some that we've not even thought of. My hope is that we can see it grow.
What is your favorite big thing here in Casey?
Well, my favorite piece is the crochet hook and knitting needles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little biased on that. I love them all. I have to say the rocking chair.
Yeah.
Because I had the opportunity. If you have knitting needles, you should be able to sit in a rocking chair and knit.
Oh, yeah.
And he got a lift to lift me up onto it with the knitting needles. And I knitted a scarf.
So what are some interactions with tourists that have really struck you over the years?
The one thing about our community, I feel like,
Uh-huh.
is we're welcoming enough to them that when you see them searching for something, you're like, "What are you looking for?
Yeah.
It's over there. You got to go inside. Like the shoes are inside; they're not outside. You know, and
Yeah.
then there's a candy store there, and don't forget to go over here." So I think a lot of our local people have become little tour guides.
Yeah.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like I'm an unofficial cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, because when things first started out, it was hard to get people on board for
Yeah.
like this change.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that I put up that board in my store. Took a picture of it, posted it, and said, just so you know, this is how many people came in today.
Yeah.
This was just a random Saturday.
Yeah.
You know, because I just, I want to give other people, I want them to know that there was a lot of people on the street. So maybe you might want
Yeah.
to take a chance too on our
Right.
community.
Yeah. A steady stream of new additions to Casey's world's largest and big things lineup of attractions have put Casey on the map and inspired visitors to return again and again to see each new addition to the collection. As Jim envisioned, Big Things has fueled a revival throughout the community, including renovations, new amenities, and new businesses. Spots like the Casey Coffee Co. are now bustling community hubs for locals and visitors alike. As president of the Casey Chamber of Commerce and the economic development director, he's seen his hometown transform. Tom, thanks for joining us here today. So, Tom, there's a map in the back here at Casey Coffee Company with push pins of visitors from all over the world, proof of all the people who come here. What does that mean to you to look at that map?
I find it incredible and very exciting. This is a totally different Casey than the one that I grew up in. And I love the fact that people from all over the world, all over the country, have found us and are coming here to see the big things and everything else that's happening because of them. The transformation from, maybe the 2011 timeframe to today, 15 years later, is just astounding. All the small businesses that people have started that are great for not only locals, but then all the visitors we have. It's terrific.
These big things have been embraced by the community in a lot of different ways. The big things are factored into events that are happening throughout the course of the year, weddings.
It brings a sense of excitement to downtown. People are proud of Casey again.
For somebody planning their first visit to Casey, what do you think the ideal day looks like?
All of the big things are right here downtown, easily walkable. I would spend the morning, going to our shops, getting my picture with all of the big things. For lunch, you could go to Crazy Eight's Grill right here on Main Street for barbecue.
And we want people to stay overnight too, because there are lots of nice accommodations around here.
Absolutely. Right here downtown, we have the 1890 Sleepover, which is a boutique hotel. We got fantastic news recently that they've also purchased the building just to the south, and so they're going to be expanding, adding 12 to 14 more rooms.
So there's big things in downtown that are within a walking distance from one another, but that's not where the big things end. Talk about some of the other big things that are around town.
Sure.
Yeah.
In addition to the world's largest pitchfork, which is at Richard's Farm Restaurant, there's also the world's largest golf tee at our country club. Over in Marshall, Illinois, which is our county seat, it's about 16 miles to the east, is the world's largest gavel. That was one of the things that Jim Bolin wanted to make sure that happened, was that it's not just about Casey. Clark County is one of the smallest counties in the state, and he wanted to make sure that the big things were promoting the county as a whole. In addition to, obviously, what it's done for Casey.
I had the pleasure of taking a trolley ride this morning, and revitalization of a park, and of course, revitalization of downtown. Can you talk about some of the things that have really bloomed in the last decade or so?
Right across the street is Central Park, this lovely little pocket park. And all sorts of events happen there. In the summer, we have a summer concert series that the city puts on. We also show movies there. And a lot of our visitors just enjoy spending time there. At one of the picnic tables, we have cornhole available there, and some other games, during the summer season.
Is there an ideal time to visit Casey?
Sure. Well, it's always a great time to visit.
Okay, yeah.
I have to say that.
Fair enough.
But the best time is from spring to fall. We have fantastic landscaping around all of the big things. So at the height of summer, it's just colorful and beautiful downtown. I think that makes the best backdrop to photos. But yeah, we have some festivals throughout the year. The Catie Popcorn Festival, actually, this year will be its 38th anniversary. I have some fantastic music, carnival rides, a vendor market, food trucks, all sorts of stuff, a car show, things like that. Our newest festival is called Candy Canes on Main.
Okay.
And that focus is really to get people into the shops here on Main Street. And it's just celebrated its 10th anniversary. And so it's always the first weekend of December.
So the big things boom in Casey. It's not really what you would consider like textbook economic development, right?
Right. And I'm asked all the time to come speak at events or conferences and say, what advice can you give people, to how they can create what Casey created? And I say, I wish I could tell you. I mean, you have to have somebody that's brilliant and creative, like a Jim Bolin type, and has the resources and the ability to create something brand new that no one, who could have predicted? You could not sit down and say, we're going to revitalize Casey by building giant things.
Yeah.
It's just an idea that he was able to make possible, and people just responded.
Yeah.
And they keep responding. And that's one of the greatest things, I think, is that one of the reason we're known is because we bring people whimsy and joy. And they come and they have so much fun interacting with the big things. And I mean, what could be better than that?
What do you think the future looks like for Casey, Illinois?
It was a big loss to lose Jim this year, and that vision and that drive. But I know that the Bolin family and Bolin Enterprises is interested in making sure that legacy continues. They are right now in the process of setting up the Jim Bolin Foundation that will make sure that the big things are well taken care of and even expanded in the years to come.
It definitely seems like there's momentum here in Casey. Do you think the community feels the obligation to keep things moving forward since Jim's passing?
I know Jim would want us to keep going, and that's something that I'm focused on as well. We are all interested in kind of figuring out where we go from here, what that means, what the future holds for Casey. I can't say for certain. I know there's a lot of momentum.
Inspired by the town's community spirit and the ongoing popularity of the big things, residents have joined downtown Casey's revitalization. We're here with Natasha and Carlene, and you two are sisters.
Yes.
That's amazing. And about a year ago, you opened Whiskey and Lollies. How did that come about?
I had my own little baking thing at home and had quite a good clientele. So this came open. So I called Natasha, said, this is going on. You want to halvesy with me? And here we are.
You said yes?
I said yes.
Yes. How did Jim Bolin influence your decision to take a business on in this community?
He's like two big personalities in a candy store.
Yes.
Absolutely. What can I do for you to help you guys
Yes,
get going?
yes.
So how did he help you guys get off the ground?
This is his building, of course. So he rented it to us at a little bit of a discount to get us started and get our feet wet.
Yep.
And then he gave us a little advice, always be friendly. There'll be a lot of people in town. And then he also says, my wife's gluten-free. Make something gluten-free.
So you do. Nice.
We always have gluten free.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. So these world record size wooden shoe, how did they come to be in this candy shop?
Well, we're very thankful for them. They bring everybody in.
And also, there's money put in the shoes for the Casey's Food Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it raises quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful for the, people that need the help.
So are these world record wooden shoes like hand-me-downs?
They were here when
were
we
here.
took over,
Mhm.
and he asked us, he's like, would you want us to take them out? And we're like,
No.
no,
Yeah, right.
absolutely not.
No. People, they're like, oh, wow, they're big. What size are they? And then we always tease them, they're
Yeah.
size
Do you-
250 or something.
Do you have socks that big?
Yeah, we hear a lot of
get
things. Just anybody and everybody, I think, are generally proud of our town. I mean, we get Mayberry compliments all the time, because everybody says hi.
Harvey.
I know, but everybody's so nice around here, and and yay, that's a great thing to have.
Yeah.
I think.
There's a lot of joy. Many first-time visitors come to Casie to experience the big things, but they soon learn there's so much more to do in this town, including visiting beloved destinations like Richard's Family Farm Restaurant. Michael, Richard, thank you so much for having us at the Richard's Farm Restaurant. This is quite the place.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to have you guys.
How did this restaurant start, and what was it before it was a restaurant?
Well, it was a barn. My father grew up in the house next door, and he just had this dream of doing something with this old barn. He would tell you that he hatched this idea for a restaurant and that he found a local banker who was crazy enough to loan him some money. And he and my mother put this together, and we're still here 50 years later.
So inside the restaurant, obviously very cool, very rustic, lots of interesting spaces. Outside the restaurant, you have quite the sight to see, the world's largest pitchfork. What's the crowd like coming to see it?
Well, it's constant, all hours of the day and night. They drive down the road here and stop and take pictures, sit on it and wander the grounds, and a good number of them come in and eat.
So 50 years of this restaurant.
50 years.
What has stayed the same and what has changed?
So the signature item on the menu since day one has been a 1-pound pork chop. It's roasted till it's fork tender and smothered in red sauce that we make. Also, we've long been known for our salad bar that we put a lot of time and effort into making the stuff that goes on it. And then we've been doing, since the 80s, we've had a Sunday buffet that is hugely popular for people here locally and around the area.
Have you ever thought of adding additional big things? I don't know, spoon?
I've found that we've got enough to take care of.
Yeah, you have lots of space in here and lots of different ways people can eat a good meal and then celebrate at the same time.
So yeah, I don't think Big Spoon is in the plan.
Can you explain what the pitchfork looks like to somebody who hasn't seen it?
Boy, it's just a giant pitchfork. I don't really know what else to say about it. But it was quite the process putting it in. They had to bring it out on a giant truck and a crane to hoist it up. And then my father designed and built all the landscaping around it. There's a little building out there. So it was a multi-step process to put all that together.
What are some of the more memorable things that have happened surrounding the pitchfork?
They're out there taking photos all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's just visitors who are stopping through to see the big things, or our guests who are here, who maybe were coming to Richard's Farm and didn't even really know it was there. They wander out there. But there were prom kids here just last week. We've had everything. Family photos, wedding photos.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it. Like I said, I can't say it enough. It's just been a blessing to the whole community. It's been such a tremendous boost to us, to this whole town, which Casey's a small town that was kind of fading away like a lot of small towns, and this has helped revitalize it.
I understand there are 3 big candy canes that are in the works.
Jim had thought for a while it would be nice to make some big candy canes out of pipe, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And he did complete that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get it up in time for last year's event. I don't know. I think it might be even more special now. The plan is to have those installed by then.
What do you hope Casey looks like 10 years from now?
I hope 10 years from now, we still have the businesses that they're thriving, that new people start a business. If the empty storefronts were filled with businesses and tourists continued to come, I would love that.
Well, it certainly seems that the spirit of Jim lives on.
And the people in the town are so, they love each other and they love Jim. And I think they'll push for it to continue just because they cared about him so much. And they didn't want to see the dream die.
Still don't have your fill of big things after visiting Casey? Well, you're in luck. Larger-than-life landmarks are a specialty in Illinois. Within a day's drive from Casey, you can visit the American Giants Museum in Atlanta and other muffler men along Route 66, the Cross at the Crossroads in Effingham, the Mammoth Monopoly Board, aka Macomopoly, in Macomb's Courthouse Square, and the Perky Pachyderm outside the Pink Elephant and Peak Wall in Livingston. Learn more about all these show-stopping attractions and more at enjoyillinois.com. Whatever's next for Casey, the world's largest and big things, are only the opening chapter of a story that you're going to want to experience for yourself. So do yourself a big favor and spend a little time getting to know Casey, a gem of a small town.